Hey, concerned about the Mandela effect? There's a video called Happy at Cern that the folks at the USLHC uploaded to YouTube in November of 2014. It's getting some play because folks are seeing a connection to the Mandela effect. And so they should. You don't have to be Einstein to see this as incriminating evidence and admission that they're responsible. We're not the first ones to give this some attention, but we're going to go deeper into the symbolism, shining more light in the darkness to bring their shadowy agendas into view. Here's the most interesting bit.
If you feel like that's what you want to do, bring me down, can't none bring me down, the love is too high, to bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
All through the video, people are dancing to the song Happy by Pharrell Williams. There's a few flying and spinning stunts with green screen special effects, but this guy in the messy office stands out like a sore thumb. What's going on here? Bottom line, it's a song and dance routine. This song and dance is intended to deceive, to mislead. It's an evasive ploy, a distraction, misdirection. We are happy at Cern. Okay, but look at the other signs. He's got placards hanging around his neck. On number 1, and Mandela. His shirt has math on it, which is a clue. It means do the math, solve the equation. On the wall poster there's a big piece of a jigsaw puzzle. It means there's a puzzle here, find the pieces and put it together. In the James Bond franchise, the first actor to play the role of Bond was Barry Nelson in 1954. The orange sign says Mandela. Do the math. Barry Nelson plus Mandela equals Barry Nelson Mandela. The phenomena that has become known as the Mandela effect is named for the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. Many people remember that he died in the early 80s when he was in prison, yet somehow all the evidence suggests that he got out of prison and lived until 2013. The name Barry has a homonym spelled B-U-R-Y. Barry Nelson Mandela, because it's his death and state funeral that people remember, and a funeral is where they would bury Nelson Mandela. You just can't dismiss this scene as not being a sign of the Mandela effect. There's another connection here. It was also in the 80s that there was a campaign with the posters, pamphlets, badges, and songs called Hang Nelson Mandela. Look at what this guy who is happy at Cern is showing off. He has these signs hanging around his neck. Hang Nelson Mandela. So that's what he's doing. This guy is doing his version of the song and dance routine with a sign. We are happy at Cern. The @ symbol is a sign that tells us that they know how to use symbols. He covers his face with it. He gestures with it as his contribution to the song and dance routine. It's providing cover, not so much for his face, but for the real meaning of what's going on. It's not just cover for the scene, and we know this because what's written on the sign tells us that the meaning of the entire video is hidden and revealed. The guy is playing peekaboo, a game you play with infants. Now you see him, now you don't. Isn't this the way of the Mandela effect? One day it's mirror, mirror on the wall, and the next day it's magic mirror on the wall. Peekaboo. Folks, we're being mocked. See all the piles of paper? Really, who has an office like that? It's part of the set design. Think of how the Mandela effect deals with a collection of memories, like a stack of papers in a collection of documents. Some bound, some unbound. They're in the business of shuffling memories around like documents in big piles. The sight of such a mess and the obvious potential there is for piles to topple over raises stress in many people. This is one of the results of the Mandela effect, which is really stressing a lot of people out. There's more symbols here, and we're going to keep exposing them. But do you see how this is an admission that they're responsible for the effect without them actually coming right out and saying it? There is plausible deniability here. Well, kind of. The only distance the USLHC folks could put between them and this is to insist that the people who produced it are responsible for it, and that it must be a gag. When they follow it up with another video connected with Back to the Future Day, and play it up like it's really about stuff like the hoverboard, most will buy it.
Where are we? When are we?
Wednesday, October 21st, 2015.
2015? You mean we're in the future?
If you've seen the series of videos we put out on Back to the Future and see what they do in these US LHC videos, you should be able to see right through them. Plausible deniability? Not so much. Here's a little scene where they're dancing all over and around Code 33.
Alone if you feel like happiness is the truth. Like happiness is the truth. Like happiness is the truth.
The number 33 is a big deal, and not just to the Freemasons. Notice the other emergency vehicle is signaling the mirroring of fire. As above, so below. Fire is one of the 4 elements honored with its watchtower or guardian when a magic circle is cast for the performance of a ritual. As we play through the context of this scene with the firemen, you'll see how this is part of the ritual casting of a magic circle. Witches cast a circle beginning with air, and so we see a man flying through the air. Fire comes next, then water, then the earth, and the circle is cast. They show us one of the circles of the LHC as the magic circle. To show us the water, they do some charades with a group waving their arms, then a woman making a wave. We see big tanks and lots of the color blue. I think they obfuscate the water sequence and extend it because water is a symbol of time, and that's really what they're hiding. This video looks to many like it's just innocent fun, but those who are educated about witchcraft recognize it as a magic ritual and know there is an intention behind it. Here's a screenshot from 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's a 33 on the counter. Player 1, player 2. Do you think we're being played? The video ends a few seconds later. Game over? Is that why they're so happy, because they think it's game over? The score showing is rather one-sided. You have to admit, with the reality of the Mandela effect, it looks like their boast is legit. However, this game over bit they're dancing all over, it ain't over till it's over, and it ain't over yet. We just put out a video where the Mandela effect is signaled in a DirecTV commercial. Here's a clip of the part highlighting the meaning of the Mandela. There are some other symbols in this commercial that should really speak to you about what's going on here. See this design on the pillow? It's called a mandala. These designs are used for meditative purposes, for attaining altered states of consciousness for the purpose of establishing a connection with the divine, which is to say, entering into communion with demons. Mandala. Think Mandela, like Nelson Mandela and the Mandela effect. This phenomenon that has become known as the Mandela effect has captured a lot of people's attention, but most have no idea really what to make of it. This mandala design on the pillowcase is a message. Let it speak to you in the context. The Mandela effect is a demonstration of the power to turn back time, to manipulate history itself. These sci-fi channel producers are literally magicians who are practicing ritual magic through the embedding of time codes and occult symbols, even a form of time magic. It's about the power to turn back time, which is the whole premise of the commercial. We refer to magic and time magic. This is Cern's deal, which gives homage to the horned god invoked during ceremonial magic, Cern Nunos. Last year we put out a video about Cern's LHC as a time machine. We featured their film called Symmetry. We showed how that was a song and dance routine about science and magic, and opening up a space-time portal. They show us a ritual inside a circle of salt. Of course they don't tell us what they're doing, they just do it. This is the way of magicians, of the practitioners of the occult. Most practicing witches are familiar with dancing in and around a circle of sacred salt. In that same video, we made some intriguing connections with the little-known time travel film called The Penitent Man. Time travel, the science of Cern, and the magic of Cern. So, the US LHC's Happy at Cern video expands upon the bean spilling of Cern's symmetry, providing a cryptic admission that they are responsible for the Mandela effect. What is the technology behind it? Is it due to the dark matter, which Anthony Patches had so much to say about? Perhaps. Is it due to the counter-rotating fields of energy as the energetic particle beams ring around the ancient temple dedicated to Apollo? Or to torsion fields with frame dragging interaction? Or perhaps an effect similar to the counter-rotating plasma of red mercury in the Nazi Bell, Die Glocke? Time itself is being toyed with, and this is the game changer. So, they have some way to influence and manipulate present reality. How would such an effect be managed? The historical facts manipulated, and perhaps even matter itself altered in the past. It's the alchemy of science magic. Manipulating reality is what magicians do. Some will scoff, as Aaron and I once did, just as we were trained to do. If you're content with a version of reality that can deny the Mandela effect, well, carry on. This isn't for you. Here's something that will shed more light on the scene in the messy office at Cern. The influential warlock Aleister Crowley wrote the Book of Lies. That's actually the title. Crowley knew the art of lying, serving the father of lies like he did. The book was filled with lessons about lying. Here's one. Quote, "The card 15 in the tarot is the devil, the medieval blind for Pan." Unquote. He used the word blind in a way that means a symbol, a substitute. He's teaching about lying, and with a flip he's actually telling us Pan is the devil. At the same time, he's illustrating how the truth is concealed and revealed using symbols, using the term blind. In the same book, his use of the plural sheds more light on it. Quote, "Paragraph 1 is, of course, a well-known scientific fact. In paragraph 2 it is suggested analogically that all thinkable things are similarly blinds for the unthinkable reality." Unquote. So the blinds are symbols, insulating, guarding, protecting, concealing yet revealing to those who have insight. On this forum of some practitioners of Crowley's thelema, this is affirmed. One offers this insight. Technically, a blind as an intentional obfuscation or misdirection regarding the content of a ritual or other instruction. Another offers, if you've spent any time around the occult, you've no doubt heard of the term occult blind. This is the idea that some writings are couched in terms that don't immediately reveal their true meaning. The idea is to obfuscate the real message from ordinary eyes, lest the information fall into the wrong hands. The wrong hands. That's ours. There are blinds in the messy office at Cern. Literally. They cover the windows, and these filter the light coming into the room and obscure the view through the windows. They're props that appear on the set as symbols. The mini blinds signal the presence of occult blinds. These blinds repeat the meaning of the song and dance routine, right? Telling us that an important message is present, but obscured. See how this works? This guy who's covering his eyes with the sign may be some kind of scientist, but he's also practicing the art of deception. Those responsible for the production are adepts in the arts of the Master Magician's Book of Lies. The sign with the @ symbol is being moved along a path, pulling it to the side and back to cover his face a few times, then he moves it down. All the while his right hand is held stationary, signaling thumbs up. The relative motion of the hands highlights the contrast. This gesturing signals that he's on the left-hand path, which is to say, following the occult, Luciferian way. It also speaks of a knowing that he's not being straight up, that while on one hand he's giving us the impression that it's all good, that this all should have our approval, and that we should be happy like everybody at Cern. But on the other hand, they're really going down the left-hand path, pursuing secret and magical agendas. There is subterfuge. Their activities are subversive. They're cloaked for a reason. Their science is there for the operation of magicians. Our collective memories of how things were being messed with in a massive psyop. All the messy piles of papers have a story to tell. Are you seeing what you're looking at here? Some dismiss the validity of the Mandela effect, saying that some people simply remember stuff wrong. Sure, people sometimes remember stuff wrong, but this is something new. That argument doesn't hold up when you have those who remember something being different agreeing on exactly how it was different. Think about it. Part of the deal with this kind of thing always involves coprophagy and sodomy, as we've been documenting for years. See the signs? Bond Mandela. BM. Bowel movement. There's a number 1 on the top sign. That's potty code for urine. There's a second sign. Call it number 2. Excrement. Defecation. BM. The colors signal sodomy. The orange of the sign has been well documented as a primary sodomy signaling color. The lettering of the other sign is red and blue. We add them together because that's what we're led to do here. Red and blue make purple, another sodomite color. Bond. That's one of the key functions of ritual sodomy, to create a bond of loyalty and for the protection of the sodomizer and their organization. Instead of dancing around, this guy is just sitting on his butt, keeping it covered. Everyone else is grooving to the beat of Pharrell Williams, pouring their energy into this. It's hard to resist. Magically, this is an energy-raising ritual, and you can be assured that this is being magically harnessed for a specific intention. Did you notice that as soon as the math magician appears, the music changes? This part of the song is known as the bridge. They set this up on purpose to leverage the bridging as part of the occult scheme. After the math magician scene where we're so cleverly not told about the Mandela effect, the bridge continues, and we see a guy spinning around against the backdrop of several scenes at Cern. From one perspective, he's a victim of mind control programming, placed into the happy state, the trance state, through ritual sodomy. He's spinning out of control while he's being programmed through space and time. Nothing can hold him down. He's gone over the rainbow, fallen down the rabbit hole. In the context of the Mandela effect, his spinning through space and time is allegorical. His life has been impacted in such a way that he has no more anchor to the past. He's lost his connection to reality because his memory can no longer be trusted. Why the bridge? A bridge is for spanning across to get you from one place to another. Where are they taking us? That's a question that needs to be asked. They're demonstrating that they can take us over a bridge. Where are we going? The song offers a hint in the line, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. We know what this means. This message is being sent in a lot of ways, and it's getting very familiar. The folks responsible for Cern are illumined, Luciferian. They're going for the big win, to break through the glass ceiling, to use another one of their expressions. Their intention, scientifically and magically, is to break out of the constraints of this mortal coil and this space-time dimension. They're going after the mastery of space and time. I'm going to close with these words from Isaiah 14, verses 12 through 15. How have you fallen from heaven, O star of the morning, son of the dawn? You've been cut down to the earth, you who have weakened the nations. But you said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven, I will raise my throne above the stars of God, and I will sit on the mount of assembly, in the recesses of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will make myself like the Most High. Nevertheless, you will be thrust down to Sheol, to the recesses of the pit. And so it will be. Thanks for watching.